When a little girl with tear-streaked cheeks tried to hand over her trembling puppy to a group of tattooed bikers outside a diner, the men froze. None of them, known for roaring engines, leather vests, and stone-cold faces, had ever faced something that broke their hearts so fast. What happened next would turn that chance encounter into a story of redemption, compassion, and second chances that no one in the small town of Ridgefield would ever forget. The sun was dipping behind the pine-covered hills when the rumble of Harley-Davidsons echoed down the lonely road into Ridgefield. The Iron Brothers Motorcycle Club wasn't known for gentle stops. They were the kind of men people avoided making eye contact with. But that evening, they were just looking for food after a long charity ride for veterans. The leader, Blade, parked his black Enchrome Harley in front of Millie's Diner. He was in his late 40s, built like a wall, with silver streaks in his beard and a permanent frown that life had carved deep into his face. His brothers followed, Tank, Rusty, and Jax, each as rugged as the next. They joked loudly as they dismounted, unaware that fate was about to put something life-changing in their path. As they walked toward the diner, a faint sound caught Blade's ear, a muffled sob. He turned his head and saw a girl, maybe 9 or 10, sitting on the curb by the dumpster. Her clothes were worn, her hair tangled, and in her arms was a tiny brown puppy wrapped in a dirty towel. Blade stopped walking. The others noticed his sudden stillness. "What's up, boss?" Tank asked, his deep voice rumbling like thunder. Blade didn't answer. He just walked toward the girl, each step careful, cautious. She looked up when she heard his boots crunch on the gravel. Fear flashed in her eyes. To her, these men probably looked like trouble. "Hey," Blade said gently, lowering his tone. "You okay, kid?" She hesitated, hugging the puppy tighter. The animal gave a weak whine. The girl took a shaky breath. "Sir, please, take my puppy." The men looked at each other, confused. Blade frowned. "Take your puppy? Why?" Tears spilled down her face as she looked at the puppy, then back at him. "We haven't eaten in 3 days, she whispered. "My mama said we have no more food. I thought maybe, if I give you my puppy, you could buy him food. He deserves to eat." The world seemed to stop for a second. Rusty, the club's loudmouth, swallowed hard and looked away. Tank blinked rapidly, pretending dust had blown into his eyes. Even Blade, a man who'd seen war and death, felt a tightness in his throat. "What's your name, sweetheart?" Blade asked softly. "Lila," she said, brushing a tear from her cheek. "And this is Peanut." Blade crouched down so he was eye level with her. The puppy licked her fingers weakly, too tired to bark. He could see its ribs beneath the thin fur. "Where's your mama, Lila?" he asked. "She's at the old gas station down the road. We were sleeping there before it got cold. I was gonna ask the lady at the diner for scraps, but I got scared." Blade looked over at his crew. None of them said a word. Their faces said it all. This little girl was coming with them. "Come on," Blade said finally, standing up. "Let's get you and Peanut something to eat." Lila hesitated. "But I don't have money." Blade gave her a small, rare smile. "Good thing we do." The Iron Brothers brought out bags of groceries from their saddlebags, food they'd bought at the diner and a nearby store. They handed her blankets, bottled water, and even an extra jacket. But that night, as they left, Blade couldn't shake the image of the little girl clutching her puppy in the cold. Something inside him stirred, a memory he'd buried for decades. A memory of his own daughter he hadn't seen in years, and that's when he made a decision that would change everything. The next morning, the Iron Brothers met at their clubhouse. It wasn't much, an old warehouse by the river, but it was home. Blade called everyone together. "We're helping that family," he said firmly. "Not for a day. For good." Tank raised an eyebrow. "You sure about that, boss? We're not exactly social workers." Blade shot him a look. "We've all been down, Tank. We've all needed someone to give a damn. Now it's our turn." And just like that, the plan began. They fixed up the old gas station, patched the leaks, and stocked it with supplies. Rusty called in favors from a local mechanic who offered to repair the mother's car for free. Tank found a small rental house near the diner and paid the first 3 months up front. When Lila and her mom arrived a few days later, they couldn't believe it. Lila ran through the little house, her laughter echoing off the freshly painted walls. Peanut barked, tail wagging. Her mom, holding back tears, turned to Blade. "Why? Why would you do this for strangers?" Blade took off his sunglasses. "Because once, someone did it for me. He didn't elaborate. He didn't have to. The look in his eyes said everything: a man who'd been broken, who'd lost everything, and who found his way back because someone cared enough to stop. From that day on, the Iron brothers became regular visitors. They fixed the fence, planted a small garden, even taught Lila how to ride a small bike around the yard. The townsfolk, who once crossed the street to avoid them, began waving when they passed. Months later, during the town's summer fair, Lila ran up to Blade holding a little paper medal she'd won for helping at the animal shelter. "Look, sir," they said, "I'm the kindest heart of Ridgefield." Blade crouched down and smiled. "You always were, kid." The crowd cheered when they saw her hugging the leather-clad bikers, the same men who'd once been called outlaws. But that day, they were heroes because kindness had changed them. Later that night, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Blade sat outside the diner, watching Lila and her mom eat ice cream. Rusty leaned against his bike and grinned. "You think we did good, boss?" If this story touched your heart, remember, compassion costs nothing, but it can change everything. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Story Sphere for more real, emotional stories that remind us of the goodness still left in the world.